Welcome to the building of a model of the respiratory system lab. What we're going to do today is we're going to build a model of our respiratory system. This here is a bottle, and we've cut off the bottom of it, and it's actually going to represent our ribs. It's stiff like our ribs. It's got a bit of a structure in it to hold everything in place so everything doesn't just smoosh together. And inside here is what our chest cavity is. So in the space inside where our lungs are, there's space, and like inside the bottle, we're going to be having that represent our chest cavity. Now, one of the first things we need to do is we have to insert our lungs. And so I'm going to get a balloon, and I'm going to put it inside. And this is going to be our lungs. Now, we're only going to use one, but of course you know that we have two lungs. And this lung here that we're putting inside, it's currently deflated. There's no air in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch the top of the balloon around the top of the bottle. Just a sec here. Whew. And like that. And this, right there, is our lung. Now, the very tip of the balloon there, the part that's sort of a little bit looks more like a tube, is going to represent the very bottom part of our trachea. Our trachea is the place in our neck here where the air goes down into our lungs, and it's a pipe. And now in the diagram, it does say to get a straw, but we're going to leave the straw out for now. But if there was a straw, it would be right in the hole here, and it would be coming out of the top. So right now we've got our lung inside here, we've got the bottom end of our trachea, we've got our ribs, and inside here is our chest cavity. Now, the one really important thing that we really need is we need to seal off the chest cavity with a very special muscle. Now, in the bottom of our chest cavity, down here below the lower lungs, we have a very important muscle. It's called our diaphragm. And the diaphragm, when we take large breath, it's going to actually pull down, and it's going to, because of the pressure inside of the cavity, because you're making more space or more volume, it's going to actually make air be sucked down into your lungs. So this is going to represent our diaphragm. It's just a balloon that's got the end cut off of, and we're going to stretch that around the very bottom of the bottle here. So once you stretch that around the bottom, it should make an airtight seal. Now, one thing that's really important is our chest cavity, where the lungs are, is airtight. If ever there's a problem with that, if you were to get a wound, it causes lots of problems for breathing, because you need to keep that airtight seal in order to breathe properly. So, we've got our diaphragm, and if you look closely, if I was to pull on the bottom of the diaphragm, watch carefully to the balloon will inflate. And if I push down into it, it's going to deflate. I don't know if you can see it very closely, but I'll try again. I'm going to pull on the diaphragm, and it blows up. If I let go, it's going to deflate. Okay, so I'm going to pull on the diaphragm, and it inflates, and then I let go, and it deflates. All the air goes out of it. Okay, so when you breathe, you're pulling down on your diaphragm to suck in the air, and then when you let go, then the diaphragm, the lungs deflate, all the air goes out of it. So I'll pull again. And so what's happening when we're doing that is there is air pressure inside your chest cavity. There's also air pressure on the outside. And what happens is when I pull down my diaphragm, the space in your chest cavity increases. There's more space. And so when there's more space, then the pressure is less. And so because there's more pressure on the outside now, it pushes the air down in through your nose or your mouth, down into your trachea, and down into your lungs. And when it pushes the air into the lungs inflate. And now when you release your diaphragm and you relax and you exhale, then all of the pressure in the lung cavity, because now the air is being pushed together, the air that's inside the lung cavity, not the air in your lungs, the air that's in your lung cavity, because it's getting pushed back together, the pressure on the inside of your cavity is now increasing, and so it's going to push out the air and cause us to exhale. All the air is going to come out. And that's how your lungs work. So, on your sheet, on your lab sheet right here, you are going to make sure that you follow the directions here, just as I've showed you in the video. And then you're going to draw a diagram of what it looks like, and you're going to label it so that you can say what each part represents. Okay? All the parts in your diagram are listed right here on the paper. Make sure you include all the parts. Okay? So you should be including your diaphragm, ribs, lung, chest cavity, and trachea. Okay? When you are finished that, on the next page, there are a few questions about what is happening. So if you're not sure, you can always review the video and listen again, but please make sure you answer each of these questions. And then down at the bottom, there is a closed activity where you're going to fill in the blanks to finish the conclusion. Okay? If you have any questions, come see me in class and I will give you a hand.